And we back. Welcome back to another episode of the Get Buckets podcast, powered by Hardwooding Basketball. I'm your host, Musa Marathi. It's finally time to talk Shannon Forest for the last time. You know, as the playoffs are going on right now, state championships and all that, I just wanted to come on here and just talk about Shannon Forest before all these seniors graduate. They had a remarkable season, and I feel like it should not go unnoticed. Uh, just to get into it, they were 24-3 this season in the 2022 through 2023 season. 24 wins, 3 losses, 8-0 in region. The only 3 losses that came were 2 times to a very strong Cardinal Newman team who ended up reaching the Skeeza 4A championship, and they only lost by 2, by the way, both times. And then the other time they lost was in the semifinals in the playoffs versus Hilton Head Christian, which team made it all the way, obviously, to the state championship, which they did end up losing, but still a very strong team in Skeeza. This was after Brendan Wilkins got injured. So, but to bring up the positives, man, this team, they really had it going for them this season. I was glad I got to interview Brendan Wilkins midway through, and I hope to interview some of their other seniors as well. But just to talk about some strong points, of course, I did make the video at this point 3 months back, I believe, where I talked about how they beat 2 5As, being Malden and Burns, who Burns is still regarded as one of the best 5As in the state, and they were able to defeat both of them. This was very early on in the season, I believe at a Thanksgiving tournament, and I talked about how this really just showed how dominant they could be in the season, and it showed. It showed. At this point, they were probably 4-0 at this point, and now to be 24-3 at the end of the season. Obviously, their players may not feel that they got as far as they wanted to, but I feel like it should not go unnoticed. They beat many 3A teams and won a couple games by over 40 points, which I don't care who you're playing. I mean, the teams that they were playing, where some of them were solid. Teams like Oak Brook. I mean, they were beating some what had been good teams throughout the season by over 40 points. And that should not go unnoticed. Now, let's get into the individual talents. To start off, Brandon Wilkins, Nolan Paladugu, Chris Agbami, John Cardinal all made all region for their team, and that's just good to hear. I'm about to tell you about some of their players. Nolan Paladugu won 3A Region 3 Player of the Year, which is a huge honor. He really put it on, very balanced and complete stats. When I looked at them, he really is a complete player. Actually just committed to Buford, or University of Buford. Hold on, let me give the specific name of it. USC Buford, my fault. USC Buford, a solid NAIA, I believe, and congrats to him on that, because he deserves it, man. He's been putting it together for all season, and just the reason I really want to talk about this team is the progression. I mean, I talked about it with Brandon a little bit, but the process. I mean, they went from freshmen who they didn't win a lot. Sophomores won some. Juniors last year lost in the semis by 1 or in overtime, I believe. And although this year they didn't win, just putting it together the way they did and seeing the progression of all their players, because a lot of them have been here for a while. All these guys I'm about to mention are all seniors, and the progression that they had in the seasons were stellar, man, were stellar. And you could really see the difference in the mindset change. What else should I say about Nolan? Also, I would say was a very good vocal leader for them and stepped up huge once Brandon went down with his foot fracture. And talking about Brandon, I should definitely talk about him. You know, I did talk to him about just about his ability to score this season and how he was able to get to his spots a lot better and just score the ball in general a lot better. You know, he's always been a score first type of guy, a ball dominant player. But this year, averaging close to 20, very efficient. And he did sadly go down February 10th on their senior night with a foot fracture, so he was unable to finish the season out for them. And I can say with confidence, I feel like if he did finish the season out with them, the end of we would be talking a little bit different right now. Maybe perhaps talking about a state championship for them. But nonetheless, he had a really good senior season, played good defense, has a few offers himself, and like he even said, the progression, man, and just from the first year to now, how it's just changed his body and everything, the way he plays, and he had a really good season as well. Oh, and I talk about it every time. Congrats on the quadruple double at the beginning of the season. Still is wild to me. The third player I'd like to talk about, none other than Chris Agabami, another senior. Like I said, they had many seniors this year. And this guy, he was just very dependable all season. He didn't miss a single game. One of, I think, two players, the other being John Cardinal, who I will talk about. But just a really good, dependable guy who played down the stretch of every game. What I would consider the third option on this team, but stepped up big time when needed. I mean, he can play. Don't get it wrong. I say third option, but he can really play. And going into that second option after Brandon went down, he doesn't need the ball all the time. He's good at off the ball, can shoot, can get downhill, and even had 21 points in the playoff win over Oak Brook, which was huge in order to get to the semis. He really locked in on defense throughout the season and just put it together throughout. And like I said before, held it down once Brandon Wilkins went down with his injury. The next guys I want to talk about are Ricky Morris and John Cardinal. Just some role players for them. When they did step up, though. I mean, they really played their role well, hustled and played hard the whole time, all season. And although the big three on this team should always is getting recognized, I feel like these guys should also get recognized too. They started, I believe, almost basically every game, or Ricky might have came off the bench some, but John Cardinal started, played every game, like I said. Ricky actually had 14 in the win over Oak Brook as well, which got them to the semis. And although they had really killed Oak Brook the first time, this time although 20 is a good amount, Brandon obviously wasn't playing, and they needed guys to step up, and Ricky took that lead. John Cardinal held it down in the paint all season for them, being their basically only center, I would say, and did the little things like Brandon had said in the interview I had with him about a month ago. And then the last two guys I really want to mention, Cole Bostrom and Jake Sully, both solid bench players who kept the team afloat when subs were made. Jake has mad bounce. I'm not gonna lie, he has mad bounce. And Cole, just a solid player all around. Isn't really strong. Isn't really known for exactly one thing. Can shoot, can dribble, get downhill, and just a nice player whenever someone needed a break. Both of these guys are also seniors, so basically their first 7 will all be leaving next year. But these guys really kept the energy high, and was one of the major reasons why they were as good as they were this season, because they were able to make subs and still compete when the subs were made. And they really helped the team be productive, and they were productive when they came in the game and didn't let the score fluctuate. But yeah, man, that's basically going to cover it. This was just the last time I wanted to talk about Shannon Forest in their final season, in the seniors' final season, since they did have such a strong 23 class. And although, like I said, they didn't come out with the championship, I think they should be proud of their season that they did have. And good luck to Shannon Forest in the future. Time to rebuild. But I'll see you on the next one. Peace.